Welcome to ESPN's Champ Week presented by Principal. This is the Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Tournament. Back here in Kansas City, it is time for the quarterfinals, and what a lineup of games we've got for you with Iowa State and Texas Tech 4-5 game. The first one, the fans are filing in. They call this Hilton South. A lot of Cyclones fans, but the Red Raiders can represent as well. Taman Lipsey and the Cyclones beat Arizona State by 49 yesterday to punch their ticket to the quarters for Texas Tech. They are the 4 seed. This is their first game. Christian Anderson, one of the very best point guards in the nation, will take the court for the first time here this afternoon at T-Mobile Center. We cannot wait for all the action here today. Here's what has already happened. Our next game today is Arizona and UCF in the 1-8 game. And then tonight, you will see both Houston BYU and Kansas TCU. What a field, what a conference it has been this year. Hello, everybody. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis, and 4 great games, Jay. And this one in particular feels like a Sweet 16, maybe even an Elite 8 kind of game.
This is a high-level game. Texas Tech has arguably the most dynamic offensive backcourt in the Big 12, and Iowa State, I'm not sure it's an argument, the best defensive backcourt in the Big 12. It's going to be a big-time performance.
Let's take a look at these two teams. We will start with the Red Raiders, who have some of the best wins in the nation this year. They've beaten Duke, they've beaten Houston, they beat Arizona on the road. They went into Hilton and beat Iowa State on the road. Unfortunately, JT Toppin out for the year with a torn ACL. Joe Lunardi's got him as a 4 seed right now. Even without Toppin, Jay, though, they have shown on any given day, Grant McCaslin's team can compete with anybody in the nation.
This team is resilient. When they beat Iowa State in Hilton Coliseum, Texas Tech hit 14 threes and out-rebounded the Cyclones in that game.
They are a great three-point shooting team, and they play with an incredible amount of toughness. And you can say the same about the Cyclones, how good they are, how tough they are, and look at all the success they have had in this tournament in this city.
Well, Iowa State focuses everything on defense first, and TJ Otzelberger wants to see his team dictate the tempo on the defensive end. They want to force 20 turnovers in this game, and Iowa State scores a ton of points, almost 20 per game off of opponent turnovers.
We say hello to Chris Button.
Good morning. You guys mentioned it. When these two teams met last month, Texas Tech went into Ames and came out with a W in one of the hardest places to play in Hilton Coliseum. So much so that senior Taman Lipsey has only lost 6 games at home in his career. He said, given that, this one feels like it's a revenge game. They came into our home and outworked us. This may not be Hilton Magic Dam, but there's a reason they call it Hilton South.
And TJ Otzelberger leaning into that a little bit. One of his messages for his team was, hey, they got us, now let's go get them. We'll see what happens here. The winner will advance onto the semifinals tomorrow night. This should be a great one. Texas Tech can really shoot the 3, as Jay mentioned. Iowa State can really guard. Something's got to give here this afternoon.
So many really compelling matchups in this game. Killian Torrey guarding Christian Anderson, and Anderson, one of the best pick-and-roll guards in college basketball.
Luke Bamboye, who has been starting in the front court for Texas Tech ever since the injury to JT Toppin. Now Jalen Petty, the freshman from Seattle, who's had a great year. He's got to force up a shot and hits it.
Well, Jalen Petty has been on fire over his last 4 games, 13 of 25 from 3. And that first possession shows you that Texas Tech can hit challenge shots.
Joshua Jefferson surrounded in the paint, up and in to tie it up.
Iowa State looking to screen Jefferson into the middle of the lane. Torrey set a screen, guard on big to get him open.
Interesting matchup at the 4 spot, if you will. Lawan Watts is a terrific player, but giving up a fair bit of size to Jefferson. The lob for Petty can't connect. Still lots of time. Deflected away. Anderson runs it down.
What a pass.
Bamboye, no, but he's fouled.
It doesn't matter how much pressure you put on Christian Anderson. Now, he's been turning it over of late. His last 4 games, Christian Anderson has turned it over a total of 20 times. But boy, he creates a lot of offense, and you pressure him, he can get around it and find open people. And Luc Bamboye, he was a big factor in Texas Tech's win at Hilton Coliseum. He had 13 points in that game.
That's a season high for him. Nobody can step in and replace JT Toppin. He was playing at a first-team All-America kind of level when he suffered the knee injury a few weeks ago. What does Grant McCasland need from Bamboye?
Well, he needs a presence inside, and especially on the glass. Bamboye has to rebound in this game, but everybody in a Texas Tech uniform needs to get on the glass.
Buchanan had an excellent game for Iowa State yesterday, a season-high 17 in their 49-point rout of Arizona State.
The 2 best shooters in the Big 12 guarding each other, Donovan Atwell and Milan Momcilovic.
As Taman Lipsey drives and is fouled. TJ Otzelberger in his 5th year as the head coach of the Cyclones. He has taken them to a couple of Sweet 16s. They won the Big 12 tournament in this building 2 years ago. They've got very, very high hopes to have a deep, deep run in the NCAA tournament. It all starts with defense. The head of the snake is Lipsey, the Ames, Iowa native, who misses the first free throw. They force turnovers. They want to get more possessions than the other team, and forcing turnovers is the biggest way that Coach Otzelberger feels they can do that, as Lipsey misses them both. Tip back out by Buchanan. Momcilovic, no. Tapped around, and it belongs to Texas Tech.
Boy, Texas Tech's guards will get down and rebound. They're not going to let the big guys do it on their own.
Eddie, the quick 3 from the wing won't go. Cyclones running.
Iowa State wants to run offense with pace.
Torre, the floater. Killian Torre has been in an offensive slump for about 10 games now. An elite defender, but it would really help Iowa State if he can just knock down a couple of early shots. Trap in the corner. Watts gets out of it. Anderson from the wing for 3.
Boy, 2 on the ball on the left side. When Watts kicked it out, that extra pass was right on point to get the open shot.
The Red Raiders are 5th in the nation in threes per game, averaging about 11.5 on the season. Open is Lipsey. Around and out. The tip won't go for Jefferson. Tried to swat it back out. And here come the Red Raiders with an early 5-point lead already.
And Jalen Petty at 6'1" already has, what, 3 rebounds? I mean, he does a great job on the glass. A really good guard rebound. He got 9 rebounds against Iowa State at Hilton.
Donovan Atwell is open, and that is a problem for the opposing team. We may have the 2 best 3-point shooters in the country in this game, in Momcilovic and Atwell. Momcilovic can't hit his.
Look at that pursuit of the ball by Bamboye. Excellent.
And then Watts has it taken away from Lipsey, but falling out of bounds. Gave it back to him. Watts for 3. What a start for the Red Raiders.
Texas Tech hit 14 threes in that win over Iowa State at Hilton, and they are on fire to start this one. What a start for the Red Raiders.
13-2 here in the opening 3.5 minutes. Being tough at the defensive end, and like they always seem to do, knocking down the open threes. For a better start if you are Grant McCasland. Texas Tech with 3 early threes, Jay, in this game.
Well, they're attacking pressure at the point it's applied. They are not shrinking from it. They're not turning their back. And Texas Tech has found open shots. 3 different Red Raiders have hit a 3 to start this game.
As a team, they shoot almost 40% from three on the season. Great look inside and an easy two for Jefferson.
Just a little low cross screen from Momcilovic to get Jefferson open. And you're going to see a lot of physical screens set by Iowa State in this game. That was one of them by Momcilovic.
TJ Otzelberger has made a couple of substitutions. Dominicus Plata and Nate Heisey have both checked in.
Guarding the dribble against Texas Tech is a difficult proposition.
Petty gets a look around and out and knocked out of bounds. It will stay at this end of the floor for the Red Raiders as we go to the first media timeout here in this game. It's a 9-point lead early for the Red Raiders. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Welcome back. A great start for Texas Tech. Iowa State has just 2 made field goals. Screening is important to just about every coach you talk to, but it seems especially important because of the physical nature of Iowa State.
Well, Momcilovic sets a really physical screen to free up Joshua Jefferson under the basket. He just takes out Lawan Watts, just a little flex cut down low, and then Momcilovic is going to get a down screen, but he doesn't need it because they took Lawan Watts totally out of the play. Now, Grant McCaslin was talking to the officials afterwards saying that was an illegal screen, but it didn't get called. But that's the kind of physicality we're going to see all game long.
Chris Budden was near the Iowa State huddle. Chris.
TJ Otzelberger wanting to see that same physicality on the defensive glass, saying go up with 2 arms, grab it, bring it down. Said, listen, we got outplayed the first 4 minutes. We got 36 more minutes to show them why we're the better team. Attack that urgency.
Thank you, Chris. Both of these coaches, both of these programs embrace a very physical style of play. They go about things differently. Again, Texas Tech, much more of a 3-point shooting team. They're the better offensive team statistically. Iowa State, one of the best defensive teams in the country statistically. Momcilovic into Plata. Good patience, but he missed it. Jefferson gets it back, and that won't go. And then it's over the back on Plata.
Josiah Mosley doing a good job of blocking out on that second opportunity that Iowa State got. The glass was such a big factor in the game these two teams played at Hilton Coliseum. And Grant McCasland's talked about it. If they can rebound, they can beat anybody. But that's a big if. They've got to continue to get on the glass, and that includes maybe especially the Texas Tech guards.
We talked in the open about some of the wins they have. I don't know that any program in the nation has as many elite, like really high quality wins as Grant McCasland's team does. At Iowa State, at Arizona, Duke on a neutral court, and then Houston at home. And Jay, even though they have lost one of the very best players in the country in JT Toppin, you can see early here today they can be a handful for anybody they play still.
Well, Texas Tech has not been feeling sorry for itself. They have been incredibly resilient after the loss of JT Toppin.
That ball deflected into the backcourt. Shot clock inside 10. Josiah Mosley in off the bench. He didn't get going till late January because of an ankle injury, but he's gotten going early here today.
Just that high pick and roll and throwing it back to the screener Mosley in the middle of the floor. That eliminates help, and he was able to drive down the middle of the lane with relative ease.
It is not a very big group in there right now for the Red Raiders, but it is a group that understands everybody just has to do his job. Sometimes you're playing a little bit out of position, playing against bigger guys. Mosley's really been a help to this team.
Texas Tech really keeps the floor spread.
Atwell smothered by Jefferson. And Jefferson will head to the free throw line. He has been all of the limited offense that the Cyclones have had so far in this one.
Well, Joshua Jefferson, first team All Big 12, an All-American. And that was a big time block against an outstanding shooter. That's where a shot fake and a drive would be the best course of action for Donovan Atwell, but Atwell is going to see a lot of attention. He's averaging 20 points a game over his last 5, shooting 50% from 3.
Couple of years at St. Mary's, 2 years in Ames for the Las Vegas native Joshua Jefferson. Had a really good game against Arizona State yesterday. 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. And he can fill up all the categories on the stat sheet, Jay, like few others in the country.
Well, how about the stat line he put up against Texas Tech at Hilton? He had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. That's remarkable.
And again, they lost that game. Texas Tech, without JT Toppin, went into Hilton Coliseum and came out with a win. And TJ Otzelberger, as now Iowa State forces a turnover. Jamarian Bateman with a full head of steam, but got blocked at the rim.
But what a play by Mosley. Texas Tech wasn't ready for the full court pressure. What a play.
Watts with a beautiful fake and then lays it in.
Looked like a handoff. He faked it, and the keeper right in the middle of the court. That was beautifully done by Lawan Watts.
TJ Otzelberger told us before the game, in that matchup a couple of weeks ago in Ames, he thought Texas Tech had the better energy, the better spirit, all of those kinds of things. He is really hoping his team can match that here today. But the Red Raiders are winning that battle so far. There's a big shot from the corner as Lipsey hits a 3.
Good little screen by Blake Buchanan to help Lipsey get a little bit of extra time.
Anderson slips and recovers. You can hear the Iowa State fans now coming to life. They appear to be the majority, although Texas Tech is always well represented as well.
Anderson got a switch, Buchanan on him.
Anderson the kick. Atwell, not this time. And it is out of bounds to the Cyclones.
Check out this play by Lawan Watts. The keeper and then gets to the rim. He's a very skilled player. Basically a guard. Nice little brush screen there by Buchanan to give Lipsey that extra time for the corner 3.
Subs for Texas Tech. Mosley out. Bamboye is back in. Tyree Bryan, a senior from Orlando, has checked in as well. 4 starters and Bateman, a freshman, a very good shooter out of Milwaukee, on the floor right now for Iowa State. Nifty stuff there from Lipsey.
Well, you have to stay between Lipsy and the basket. Who cares if he throws it out top when he pivots? You got to protect the rim.
Cyclones fans now rising to their feet, sensing their team is starting to get back into it after a dreadful start to this game. Anderson, a little strong on the three. Bateman soars in for the rebound.
Texas Tech may miss a couple of threes, but they're going to keep shooting them.
How about Lipsy coming down and putting one up after he hit one from the corner moments ago? Bryan, a starter earlier in the season, missed some time with a foot injury, now coming off the bench. Watts for three. And over the back is Bryan.
Boy, good block out by Bateman. He turned to look. He wasn't worried about the ball. He was worried about getting a body on another body.
And a little run here for Iowa State after trailing by double digits early. They have gotten back within 7. Taman Lipsy leading the way. Zubin, Coach, thank you very much. Boy, the Redhawks have had so many close games this year, but obviously undefeated. They have managed to win every single one of them. You look at the tickets that have already been punched to the dance, and a lot of the one-bid leagues, Jay, have already decided their championships. Anybody jump out there at you?
Well, High Point can really play. They're a high-powered offense. There are a number of teams, and Miami's one of them, And I think every bubble team is rooting for Miami to win their automatic bid because they're in the tournament anyway. If they lose, that's a 2-bid league.
Torrey off to Jefferson. A little run here for Iowa State the last couple of minutes to narrow the gap. They were down as many as 11, but now they've gotten it down to 5.
Well, the key there was Christian Anderson forced Momcilovic inside the 3-point line. That was a 2, but at least they didn't give him an open 3.
Boy, the ball pressure is always great for Iowa State, but how about the look from Petty to Watts underneath?
There is no panic in Jalen Petty. I mean, he's small, but still threw right over the top.
A nice feed from Torrey to Buchanan and a chance for 3.
You know, give Blake Buchanan a lot of credit there. He relocated from the right side of the lane to the left. And that movement, getting open. See, he comes over from the opposite side of the lane and presented himself and then went up strong. Just that movement made the play by the big guy from Iowa State.
Buchanan, a transfer from Virginia, again had maybe his best game of the season yesterday. A season high 17 points against the Sun Devils, 6 rebounds, a couple of steals as well, and now Iowa State's gotten it down to 4.
Christian Anderson operating off the ball. Remember, Jalen Petty played the point guard when Anderson was out for a game. So they trust him to run the team, and that way Anderson can operate more as a scorer than a facilitator.
Anderson tried to fire a pass, and it's off the fingertips of Bamboye. Torrey deflected away by Anderson out of bounds. Let's take a look now at the T. Rowe Price ACC men's tournament bracket, and it is the top 8 seeds in the quarterfinal. You've got Duke and Carolina on the same side of the draw. Virginia and NC State are playing right now. It's early, it's close. What jumps out to you from Charlotte?
Well, at the top of the bracket, the injuries. North Carolina without Caleb Wilson for the remainder of the season with that incredibly unfortunate hand injury that puts him out. And then Duke playing without Caleb Foster and Patrick Gungba in the ACC tournament.
Foster out indefinitely, maybe for the season, no matter how far they go. No official word on that. Duke at least publicly saying they're hoping he is going to return. A strong drive and finish by Jefferson to get it back down to 2. Grant McCaslin is extremely unhappy over on the Red Raiders bench right now.
Boy, Iowa State really ratcheting up the pressure on the ball.
Heisey a steal.
Turnovers are what drive the engine of this Iowa State team.
Jefferson trapped in the corner, and he will call a timeout to save the possession. We'll step aside for 30. You can see how the vibes have changed on each side right now.
Shots now. Now we have to finish those and play with pace. I think we can do a better job sprinting out after we get the rebound. After we get the rebound, we can all come.
Even when things aren't going well, you and I have talked about this on and off the air. TJ Otzelberger never gets too high, never gets too low. And his players, the way that they go out there and play, seems to reflect the demeanor of their coach. And they have come all the way back from an early 11-point deficit to claim the lead.
That flex action, Tamin Lipsey sets a screen, then gets a down screen. He was wide open. That's been very successful because the screening and cutting has been on point. What a pass.
Anderson inside, a bullet into Watts, and the Red Raiders are back on top.
Talk about threading a needle. How did he even see that?
Anderson is third in the nation in assists per game, behind only Jeremy Fears of Michigan State and Braden Smith of Purdue.
He's responsible for about 38 points a game with points and assists for this Texas Tech team. Talk about an important player.
Shot clock at 5. Momcilovic just heaves it up, got the rim, and it's out of bounds to Texas Tech.
Take a look at Tamin Lipsey. He's going to step in, set a screen with a little flex action. Then he gets a down screen from Momcilovic. And this pass by Christian Anderson. My goodness, talk about a tight window to Lawan Watts. How do you even see him?
These are two great point guards in Anderson and Lipsey.
And they're so different.
Yep. And that one is going against Mosley for an illegal screen.
Boy, it's amazing. You set a screen out top and all eyes are on you. A screen underneath, you can get away with mayhem and it's not called.
These are two great teams. Again, this is the 4-5 game in the loaded Big 12, but it feels, as we said off the top, like a Sweet 16 game, maybe an Elite 8 game, as Plata lays it in. Lipsey the assist.
Little staggered screen up top. Momcilovic pops to the three-point line and then Plata to the basket. That was really effective.
Mosley the kick. Bryan gives it up to Petty. Iowa State really digging in defensively. Mosley the floater, no. Tip, yes. What a play by Anderson.
Boy, nobody cracking down because you're so worried about Atwell. Tamin Lipsey didn't crack down on the weak side to get a block out on Christian Anderson.
Anderson's now got 5. Lawan Watts, who was on the bench, leads all scorers with 9. That one turned over. Anderson with a chance to run. Open man is Atwell. And that's a break for Iowa State. He does not miss many open threes.
What a find in transition.
Anderson just went flying. Momcilovic misses the 3. Play to the rebound. Jefferson threads the needle to Heisey, but it won't go in for him. And then Lipsey steps in, stopping the transition, but is called for the foul. It will be his first. Close, back and forth they go, Jay, as we expected here in this one.
Well, Texas Tech can really score, but Iowa State has run great offense. The double screen, Plata rolls to the basket, gets the pass, and then Christian Anderson. You're not supposed to be able to do that. You're a guard. Well, Iowa State's Tamin Lipsey is known as one of the best defenders in the country, and he is, but he has shown his offensive game in this one, knocking down an open shot from the perimeter, the pivot, and then setting a screen and getting a screen. 8 points, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, and Tamin Lipsey has a near 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio. He averages 5 assists per game. He is a very low mistake, low error player.
Pretty cool story for a guy who grew up, who is from Ames, Iowa, to commit to the program. His family so proud of him, and here in large numbers watching Lipsey and Iowa State compete in the Big 12 tournament. Chris has more.
A kid that grew up in Ames, always wanting to play for this team. And when I spoke to him the other day about being one of the unicorns in college basketball, to stay someplace for 4 years, there's fewer than 25 in the country that have stayed for 4 years as scholarship players at major power conferences. And he said there was never a thought that I would leave. This was always the dream, even throughout the coaching changes. And the fact that he's been able to do this with now married and having his family come to every single game. He just said this has been a dream come true. I would never change anything about this experience.
It is a very cool story, and even just while you were talking, a deflection and a rebound for Lipsey, although he has slipped twice on the floor in the last minute or so. Unless he's a big Curly Neal fan, and he just hasn't told us about that. But he got back to his feet, appears to be all right.
Well, you went with the more contemporary of the Globetrotters.
Yes.
It could have been Marcus Haynes,
yes,
too.
Bamboye, the kick to Bryan.
How about that block that Bamboye just had?
Bryan's got to find somebody. It's knocked out of bounds. Still Red Raiders ball with 7 on the shot clock. I mean, how cool is it to be a fan of a team when you are a kid, and then to grow up and realize your dream and play for that program?
And how cool for TJ Otzelberger that a player of and a point guard of that caliber grew up in Ames.
And as Otzelberger has told us, he didn't have this version of the Iowa State program to sell to Lipsey when he was trying to recruit him. But Lipsey wanted to play for Iowa State, believed in Otzelberger and his vision for the program. And needless to say, that vision has really come through in recent years for Iowa State.
Well, it reminds you of when Chris Paul was growing up in the Winston-Salem area and wound up going to Wake Forest to play for Skip Prosser. He's going to go down as one of the all-time great Cyclones. And you talk about a great culture guy. One thing Otzelberger never has to worry about is Tamin Lipsey.
Iowa State by 1 in transition. Jefferson goes 94 feet to lay it in.
How about that little hesitation move? You thought he might give it up to Toure and instead takes it all the way.
Jefferson and Lipsey have combined for 17 of the 24 points for Iowa State.
Boy, and Toure is not letting Christian Anderson breathe.
Watts, little signal with his head which way he wanted Anderson to go. Anderson has to get it way out near midcourt and drives and lays it in with the left hand.
What a beautiful drive and left-handed finish at the rim. He is a big-time scorer.
5th in the Big 12 in scoring, 1st in the Big 12, 3rd in the nation in assists. Toure, the freshman from France, finds Jefferson. Jefferson's 3 won't go, with the rebound down to Petty. An outstanding rebounder for a guard, especially one at his size.
He's just tough.
Lines up a 3. And it's out of bounds, but it will be Iowa State basketball.
Christian Anderson attacking the pressure. Doesn't get any help to stop that drive, gets all the way downhill, but it's this left-handed finish over a good shot blocker in Blake Buchanan. That's a big-time creative finish at the rim by Christian Anderson.
All kinds of honors and awards for Anderson this year. First team All Big 12. Bateman rattles out the follow by Heisey.
Talk about a great glue guy. Nate Heisey just makes play after play.
Back and forth they go, exchanging the lead. Anderson dumped it off to Petty. Shot fake Watts. Atwell Around and out, rebound Jefferson.
And Texas Tech's going to keep taking those. They take 29 threes a game.
No-look pass from Jefferson into Plata. And Grant McCaslin unhappy, calling a timeout and getting into his players right now as they are now down by 3.
Well, you talk about a point forward. That's Joshua Jefferson. He's done it in transition. He's done it in the half court. What a player Joshua Jefferson is.
And you talked about Nate Heisey as one of the ultimate glue guys in the country. Nobody blocked him out, and he made him pay by slamming it home. Iowa State's got the lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. Kevin, guys, thank you very much. You agree 100%. They're in, right?
The committee is not going to leave out a team that went undefeated in the regular season. They've never left out a team that had 29 wins, let alone 31. They're getting in. And we can sit and argue, is this team better or who would win? But I think it's a done deal, and I agree. Like, that was not a good outcome for bubble teams. Right. Every bubble team was rooting for Miami. And it's not just because Travis Steele was going to wear a Speedo.
It may not have been about that at all. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Chris Budden, Texas Tech, Iowa State. The lay-in for Watts, another assist for Anderson, and it's a one-point game.
His peripheral vision is outstanding. And how about the way that Texas Tech is throwing out of double teams? When there's two on the ball, they have made really good decisions.
Two-man game, Lipsy and Plata. Lipsy's been outstanding here in the first half.
And Joshua Jefferson has been equally, if not more, outstanding.
Turnaround, fade away, no. And Watts down with the rebound. The Red Raiders looking for the lead.
Every possession, they've had 5 white shirts on the defensive glass. What a pass, my goodness.
No look pass, but Mosley can't finish it. Boy, Watts is a terrific player as well. Undersized a little bit at the 4, but helps them win in many, many ways. Plata draws a foul.
Christian Anderson, after they passed out of the double team, was going for a 3-point shot, but finds the open man under the basket. He was looking at the basket, but his peripheral vision found Lawan Watts open underneath. What a great find by an outstanding passer, Christian Anderson.
So at the line, the 6'11" freshman from Germany, Dominicus Plata, who knocks down the first. The foul on that play was on Mosley, his second, and he has gone to the bench. Bamboye is back in for Texas Tech.
And Josiah Mosley's been playing better and better since he got back into the lineup. Against Iowa State in the last game they played, he had 10 points and 9 rebounds. His work on the glass is going to be important in this one as well.
They were so thin at times earlier in the season. Bamboye was out, Mosley was out. There were many practices where they couldn't even go 5-on-5, and Grant McCaslin didn't know how many guys he could look down on the bench and say, hey, I can put that guy in. But no matter how thin they have been then or even now without JT Toppin, not that they're thin now, but they've lost a first-team All-America caliber player, and they are still dangerous to any team in the country.
Well, JT Toppin averaged 22 a game. 11 rebounds, 4 of them on the offensive end, and close to 2 blocks per game. I mean, as a first-team All-American that Texas Tech is down, and still the Red Raiders are really difficult to play against and really difficult to beat.
And Iowa State knows it. As we mentioned off the top just a couple of weeks ago, the Red Raiders went into Hilton and came out with a win, and that was without Toppin.
Well, Iowa State is setting some hard screens.
Watts picked up his dribble, finds Anderson. Jefferson trying to stay in front of him. Anderson the kick. Watts thought about the mid-range. Anderson somehow finds a seam, but left the jumper short.
So good off the dribble. He split those 2 defenders like they weren't even there.
Heisey. Bamboye might have gotten a piece of it. Heisey gets it back. Jefferson traveled.
Once you come to a 2-footed jump stop, you can't step through. If it's a 1 foot, then the next foot, you can still pivot.
Just their second turnover in better than 18 minutes of action here today. Early on, the Red Raiders led by as many as 12. The lead has bounced back and forth the last several minutes. Good D by Bateman. Petty trying to shake him. Anderson double. Open man. Atwell. Count it.
How does he make these finds? I mean, that was a cross-court pass with the right hand with 2 defenders on him.
Again, 3rd in the nation in assists. Lipsy picks up an assist on the feed to Buchanan.
Open side pick and roll. Bamboye stayed too long on the ball. Easy play, or at least they made it look easy.
And Bateman called for a foul away from the ball.
Christian Anderson is a big-time passer. That is a spectacular pass to the lefty Atwell. One of the best 3-point shooters in the country. I think it's down to he and Momcilovic for who is the best. But Atwell, that's 125 threes on the season now for him. That ties L.J. Cryer. The only one with more in Big 12 history is Buddy Hield.
A turnover. Lipsy, left hand, lays it in.
How many big-time finishes have we seen by guards in this game?
Against teams that are not easy to finish against. Boy, the ball pressure is relentless from the Cyclones.
Pushing them further out on the floor, but they could take advantage of this.
How about Christian Anderson knocking down the three?
The step back, and Taman Lipsey kept going. He just put the brakes on and nails a huge three to tie this game.
Anderson now into double figures to go with some terrific passes as well. Shot clock, game clock separated by just about a second. Lipsey holding for a while. Comes to get it. Buchanan the screen. Jefferson the look. Bateman the three. Yes! And that is how the first half will come to a close. Bateman, the freshman, knocking down a three to give Iowa State the lead.
What a half of basketball. The plays being made on this court by both teams, just jaw-dropping.
36-33 Cyclones at the break. Chris Budden is with TJ Otzelberger.
Coach, Tech got out to that early 12-point lead. What changed for you guys after the under-16 timeout?
Yeah, I think defensively we picked up on pressure. To start the game, they did a great job spacing us. We were back on our heels. When we dictated into the basketball, we were able to create plays off our defense and get back into the game.
They're a team that can hit some threes. They did that late in this half. What do you need in the second half defensively?
Yeah, just extra effort on the rotation. It's just a little bit more to get to that contest and that closeout, get our hand above the basketball, make him put it on the floor.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
What a good half of basketball. The freshman Jamarian Bateman, his first points of the game came with just a second or so to go in the first half. Iowa State executing very well on that last possession. Two really good teams and a really good game with the Cyclones up by 3. Miles Simon, Sean Farnham, and Kevin Connors with the Sargento halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. This is the Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Tournament. If you like point guard play, boy, has there been a lot of that in the first half. Anderson, Texas Tech, 10 points, 3 assists. Taman Lipsey for Iowa State, 10 points, 3 assists. Both of them were terrific here in the first half of a hotly contested game. It's a 3-point lead for the Cyclones. Welcome back, Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. Let's get right into it. Let's take a look at our experts at work, brought to you by Principal.
And we go to the point guards. Christian Anderson of Texas Tech was facing relentless pressure, and when he got the ball, he was finding open people, catching Lawan Watts under the basket, and then threading a needle to find him again against the pressure of Iowa State. And Iowa State's pressure is trying to speed up Texas Tech, but it's hard to speed up Christian Anderson. And Taman Lipsey out of bounds underneath. He sets a screen, then gets a screen wide open for the 3, and then in the corner, a nice little brush screen from Blake Buchanan to get Taman Lipsey open for that jumper. 10 points for each of them. And this pressure that Iowa State is putting on, that's got a cumulative effect that they hope takes effect late in this game.
Very nice first half for both Joshua Jefferson and Lawan Watts, the high scorer in the game. Let's go to Chris.
Grant McCaslin wanting them to ramp up the defensive intensity. He said our transition defense hasn't been very good, and we need to be more physical in the paint. We've allowed them to get to the rim with too much ease. He did say, I like where we are offensively. We've had some good looks. All of them aren't falling. Just got to make sure we take care of the ball and don't turn it over.
Well, he is not going to like that first defensive possession as Blake Buchanan gets an easy one, and the lead is now 5. Nearly turned over. And Atwell had his heel out of bounds. They do turn it over.
This pressure by Iowa State, they're bringing traps, they're bringing 2 on the ball, and it makes it awfully difficult for Texas Tech to pass out of it. But throughout the game, the Red Raiders have done a pretty good job overall, though that's their 7th turnover in the game.
Iowa State blew out Arizona State yesterday. Texas Tech playing for the first time here this week. Torrey misses the jumper, and we got an out-of-bounds play. It will stay with the Cyclones, and Joshua Jefferson may not be 100%, and we saw this for a moment in yesterday's game. He had knee-on-knee contact with an Arizona State defender. We don't know if this is the same thing, but it did appear to be his left leg that he is favoring right now. Lipsey the scoop, it'll go.
Just got a screen from Momcilovic. He slipped out of it to the 3-point line, and Lipsey able to get all the way to the basket easily.
And the lead is 7 for the Cyclones, who once trailed by 12. Watts rolls off the rim. It's bouncing around like crazy, and Jefferson's got it.
But Van Boye looked like he had it, just couldn't corral it.
Jefferson has to give it up. Buchanan back out to Lipsey for a reset. The screen. Lipsey spins, slips. Still 10 to shoot. Lipsey open for a moment, misses the 3, and another rebound for Watts. Watts trying to go all the way, kick in the corner. Petty got it.
A great attack by Lawan Watts in transition. A rip and run where he grabs the rebound, doesn't even have to outlet it.
And it's really early in the second half, but didn't that feel like a big bucket for the Red Raiders, the way things ended in the first half and started here?
Well, especially getting something in transition. That won't count as a fast break point, but that was a transition bucket.
That one bounces out on Buchanan.
Got the switch. Now it's Jefferson on Anderson.
Anderson backs up a bit, sizing up his defender, tries to go around him, and smartly draws the foul.
Just a little rocker step, hesitation move to get past Joshua Jefferson. That's a tough cover when you're having to deal with Christian Anderson. How about the shape that Christian Anderson, he's not the only one, but he doesn't come out of the game.
First in the Big 12 in minutes played this year, better than 38 per game. And on over a dozen occasions, he has played 40 or more minutes in a game, if it's in a game that goes to overtime.
Well, that was a heck of a strip by Heisey. Hard to believe he didn't get some arm there, but a great steal.
Heisey and Plata both checking in for Iowa State. Mosley checking in for Texas Tech. Jefferson, a nice jump hook.
He does a great job of feeling his defender with his body and turning away from the contact.
He could beat you with his offense. He could beat you with his passing. He could beat you with his rebounding.
He could beat you.
Yes. Around and out on Watts. Heisey to Torrey. Again, Torrey not really looking to shoot all that much these days because he has been in a prolonged slump. Momcilovic, no, and it's been a very quiet game for Milan Momcilovic. 1 for 6, 2 points. Nice feed, and there's a reverse for Torrey.
Wasn't even a back screen, but Donovan Atwell went over the top of Jefferson, and Torrey wide open under the basket.
First points for Torrey and largest lead for Iowa State. Anderson, that's deflected. Atwell. A big three for Donovan Atwell.
Boy, what a pass, and he doesn't need much time at all. Atwell barely had that in his hands before that was up.
That is his third three of the game to get him back within 5.
And one thing you know, Texas Tech is going to keep shooting.
They are 7 for 19 from 3 in this one. Momcilovic won't miss forever as he knocks down his second of the game.
Really nice physical screen by Dominicus Plata. He gets a piece of you every time he sets a screen.
5 points for Momcilovic, his second field goal, his first 3. Jefferson with a rejection of Watts.
Boy, how about that block? You can close out short to Torrey. He's not really even being guarded.
It bounces free. Jefferson gets it back. Still a lot of time. Momcilovic thinking about it. Jefferson into Plata. Good defense by Anderson. That is a held ball, and the possession arrow will give it to the Red Raiders as they continue, Jay, to go back and forth here in Kansas City.
The ball goes inside immediately. Texas Tech looks to the three-point line. The lefty Donovan Atwell knocks down another 3. Talk about catch and shoot. And a great screen that freed up Momcilovic, 2 of the best shooters in the country.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. Welcome back to Kansas City, where Iowa State has now stretched out the lead to 8. This was the first possession of the second half, right at the rim for Buchanan. The scoop by Lipsey. Jefferson doing Jefferson things. They're getting some good looks.
And they're getting them all in the paint. Iowa State has run really good offense against this Texas Tech defense. 8 different Cyclones have scored in this game. Everyone that has been put in the game by TJ Otzelberger has at least a bucket. And one of the key performers has been Joshua Jefferson. As always, he's got 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, including a big block in this game.
And it sure looks like that left knee is bothering him, but not to the point where he has had to come out of the game. You talked about points in the paint. Iowa State 28, Texas Tech 14 in the paint. A major difference in this game.
Well, and it usually is with Texas Tech. They only average 29 paint points per game. Say that 10 times fast. Say it one time fast. I can't do it.
Yeah, Texas Tech is looking to beat you from beyond the arc. A save by Anderson. But the shot will not go down for Leon Horner, who has checked into the game for the first time for the Red Raiders. Grant McCaslin had gone with only 7 until this point.
Well, against Iowa State's defense, you have to make unscripted plays. That's going to be an offensive foul on Heisey.
Yeah, Heisey just barreled into Anderson, and an easy call on that play.
You can plan all the offense you want against Iowa State. They can take you out of whatever you're running, and you have to do something unscripted. And Texas Tech has a number of playmakers on the floor that can handle that, but that pressure is cumulative. It's like body punches in a prize fight.
And we talked a lot yesterday, and the same applies a lot here today, although not on this possession, how far they push you out towards midcourt when you're trying to set up your offense. Jefferson takes a bump, and that is going to count. Let's wait and see officially. Yes, it is going to count. Marcus Pettigrew signaling that's a basket, and Jefferson will head to the line.
Multiple times in this game, Jefferson has brought the ball up court, and when he gets ahead of steam going downhill, so skilled and yet strong and physical, going right into the defender and still getting it to go. He created that contact.
He's already got a double-double in this game. 13 points, 10 rebounds.
That is the Achilles heel of this Iowa State team. This is not a great free throw shooting Cyclone team. And in this game, they have not been knocking down their free throws at a high rate.
Under 68% on the season, 3 for 8 today. Petty no. Rebound Jefferson, his 11th. The matchup continues between Lipsey and Anderson. Lipsey gets to the rim again.
So good off ball screens. He takes his time, gets the defender on his hip, and really puts secondary and tertiary defenders in a bind.
Lipsey with 14, Jefferson with 13. Iowa State, which once trailed by 12, now leads by 12. Anderson not close, and the rebound of Momcilovic.
Really good late contest by Bateman.
Jefferson again. Bateman the cutter, but it's out of bounds.
Taman Lipsey off of ball screens is surgical. Playing in drop coverage, and you just can't. You have to get up on him. Once that screen picks off Christian Anderson, he's trailing the play. And Bamboye's got to step up a little bit earlier, even though he's in drop coverage.
Petty trying to drive by Lipsey. Lipsey recovers and knocks it away.
You think you're by him, but his rear contest is so effective with those great hands.
In Ames, they talk about, quote, Taman plays. It can be diving on the floor, getting an offensive rebound on a missed free throw, recovering to tip a ball away like he just did. He just makes winning plays. Jefferson, 2 more.
Anderson in the position to either take a charge or get out of the way. He chose the latter.
And Grant McCaslin has seen enough. here in Kansas City. Iowa State is rolling right now.
Iowa State doing it on the defensive end. That starts everything for this Cyclone team. And when they defend, that makes their offense that much better. And you don't get much better than Joshua Jefferson.
You've got a conference that has as many good teams and as many good players as the Big 12 has had this year. You're going to get all kinds of people from the world of basketball and all kinds of people in charge of teams coming to see this tournament. And we've got a number of presidents and vice presidents and general managers here in the house because there are so many talented players to watch here over the next few days.
Well, especially this freshman class, and the Big 12 has its share of great freshmen that you're going to hear their names if they come out early in the NBA draft. All these guys are green room guys, and AJ Dibonsa is having an incredible season. Put up another 40-point game in the first game of this tournament, averaging 25 a game, leading the nation in scoring.
BYU will play again tonight against Houston. How about that matchup? That's 2 seed against 7 seed Arizona. The top seed will take the court for the first time in our next game here today against Johnny Dawkins and the UCF Knights, who picked up an overtime win over Cincinnati yesterday. Jamarian Bateman hit that 3 right at the end of the first half. Joshua Jefferson is down, and this time he is not getting up so quickly. Another 3. The lead grows, but boy, you can see he's playing great, Jay, but he's playing through it right now.
Yeah, he is definitely gutting it out. But every screen that's being set in this game, there is physicality to it.
Jefferson appears to have been favoring his left knee for a couple of days. There was a knee-on-knee collision yesterday. Don't know if this is related or not, but he goes down to the court and this time needed some help getting up. Welcome back inside T-Mobile Center here in Kansas City. And how about this league? And you already talked about the freshmen. There are so many of them. Many are going to hear their names called as a first-round pick, maybe a lottery pick, but even just here on the collegiate level, one of the biggest reasons this league has been so good is this freshman class has been absolutely outstanding. A.J. DiBonzo will take the court later on tonight against the 2-seed Houston. You saw Kingston Fleming. So much to look forward to in the next few days. Let's go to Chris Button.
The offensive effort. He said, I don't even know what to tell you guys because you're doing things that I've never seen you do. We don't stand there on the Big 12 logo. You're getting the ball taken from you because you're not being tough enough. You guys are acting like this is just some pickup basketball game and you're playing out there for yourselves. We got to play together and we got to be a lot tougher.
Chris, thank you. And one thing, as you well know, Jay, that Grant McCaslin and the Texas Tech program that they pride themselves on is toughness. You can lose a game, but he doesn't want to lose the toughness battle.
Well, it's a difficult proposition to go against this defense. I mean, it's 3 of 11 now from the field for Texas Tech because of the relentless pressure that Iowa State is putting on defensively. And that just wears you down over the course of the game.
Iowa State has outscored Texas Tech 20-6 in the second half. Great effort by Anderson to knock it free, and the Red Raiders have it. Anderson misses the 3, and the weak side rebound down to Torrey.
Iowa State's defense has sped up Texas Tech. And even when Tech has gotten some drives to the basket, Lawan Watts had one early. They're unable to finish around the rim.
Lipsy for three. Yes.
A beautiful fade screen set by Blake Buchanan. Atwell had to go over the top of it. And that gave just enough room for Lipsy, who's having another fantastic game.
And for Joshua Jefferson, Jay, that is assist number 5 in this game. That's right at his season average.
He just fills up the stat sheet. As consistent a performer in the front court as there is in the country.
It is a 15-0 run that ends right here as Petty bangs down a 3.
A beautiful crossover in front of a great defender, Tamin Lipsy, before that step back. But that's the degree of difficulty that Texas Tech has had to deal with all game long, but especially in the second half.
Jefferson driving baseline, a little bump on Watts, and he draws a foul. Let's listen in now to the last Iowa State huddle with TJ Otzelberger.
All I gotta say is keep doing the same thing. Don't change. Physical, guard the dribble, finish on the glass, space, movement down here. Thank you. Excellent job. Finish on the glass, catch your breath here. We come out with a kill. Take it right back to that spot. We kill. Let's get this crowd really in this game. Let's get it.
You know what? We ran a huddle in the first half when they were down. Now we run some sound from a huddle right now when they're up by 17. You wouldn't know which was which. His demeanor is identical.
He's got an amazing demeanor, whether it's with the officials or his team. There's no coach in America that's more in control of his emotions during the course of a game than TJ Otzelberger. Both he and Grant McCaslin are great examples of how to comport yourselves on the sideline.
They've both had such an interesting path to where they are. Otzelberger went to Wisconsin Whitewater, was an assistant at Iowa State for a total of 8 years, 2 different stints, head coach at South Dakota State, UNLV, and now in Ames. And for Grant McCaslin, Midland College, Midwestern State, a D2 school, and assistant at Baylor. Nobody handed either one of these guys anything, and they are 2 of the best coaches in the country. Atwell got his own. Anderson, a shot fake, no look pass, Watts fouled.
One thing Texas Tech has to continue to do is run offense with pace. You're not going to get something off one pass against this Iowa State defense.
An 18-point lead as Lawan Watts, 6'6", redshirt junior from Fresno, California, steps to the line for the Red Raiders. Well, of course, there is great action all around the country right now, but the SEC tournament is going on in Nashville. Right now, Kentucky and Missouri are on the court. Kentucky is up 9, trying to earn a date with the top seed in the conference, Florida, in the quarterfinals tomorrow. Tennessee, Auburn, A&M, Oklahoma, Georgia, Ole Miss still to come.
In order to get back in this game, Texas Tech needs some stops. And Iowa State has run really good offense in this second half.
And so much of it running through Jefferson. Momcilovic to Heisey. Lipsy is open again, and it'll go.
Just great ball movement. Off that middle screen on the reversal, Plata rolls to the basket that drags defenders, and then Tamin Lipsy wide open on the right side.
That's his 4th 3 of the game. He's got a game-high 20, and they've got it again. Watts is down behind the play for the Red Raiders as Plata slams it. The lead grows to 22, and Lawan Watts still down for Texas Tech.
Looked like he rolled an ankle. Stepped on the foot of Tamin Lipsy.
So Watts goes out. Bamboye is back in for the Red Raiders, and Watts is walking down the tunnel towards the Texas Tech locker room.
Again, you just can't say enough about this Iowa State defense. When the Cyclones bring it like this.
And now Anderson is down. Christian Anderson trying to get open to get the ball, tried to put the brakes on, and he goes down.
Well, this Texas Tech team has had to deal with so many injuries this year, most notably to JT Toppin with that ACL suffered against Arizona State.
Just tried to put the brakes on and maybe reverse course.
That left foot just slipped.
And Anderson up and walking, but very slowly making his way towards the Texas Tech bench. JT Toppin out for the year with a torn ACL. And now Anderson and Watts have both left the game within just a few seconds. Jazz Henderson, who does not see much time at all, a redshirt freshman from Dallas, is into the game for the first time for the Red Raiders.
Jazz Henderson was a high school teammate of JT Toppin and a multiple-time state champion in high school.
That's him with the ball. Bateman on him.
Just making a pass right now is difficult.
Boy, it must seem to Grant McCaslin like a million years ago when they were up 12 in this game. There has been a 34-point turnaround in this game. Let's get an update from Chris.
Watts is back down here on the bench. I saw him tell his teammates, "I'm good." He came out to the end and was stretching out both of his calves, but he's back here sitting on the bench.
Good to see that. Whether he can return, we'll have to wait and see. Whether Anderson can return, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it is a 22-point deficit right now. Petty, no. And Plata gathers it for Iowa State.
Much better rebounding effort in this second half from Iowa State. It's been one shot and out, one challenge shot and out for Texas Tech.
Momcilovic in and out, and that's their first miss in their last 10 shots from the field.
Every time Momcilovic misses, it's like a shock.
Yeah, and same with Atwell on the other side. Two of the best. Mosley swings it. Petty takes it. Weak side rebound to Mosley, back up and in. Into the front court comes Lipsey, who has been outstanding today. 4 for 7 from three-point range, 20 points and 4 assists.
Iowa State lifting up this Texas Tech defense. Gives them some room to cut and roll.
Izey out to Bateman with 5 on the shot clock. Bateman too strong, and a great rebound there by Mosley.
Boy, Mosley's a good player. He played really well at Hilton Coliseum.
Driving on Heisey. Somebody got a hand in there. They do it again, but this time a foul to take us to a timeout with 6:48 to go. It is a big, big lead for the Cyclones, looking for a spot in the semifinals, and maybe, just maybe, they'll enjoy a little barbecue here in KC tonight. So you think about his defense and all those great intangible plays that he makes. And he's made all of those today. But today, Jay, he has added a lot of offense as well.
Well, when you think of Tamin Lipsey, first you think about winning. He does whatever it takes. And in this game, it has been his scoring. 20 points. And he shot the ball very, very well. He's 8 of 12 from the field. He's knocked down 4 of his 7 3-point attempts. He also has 4 assists, not a single turnover in this game. You talk about efficient. That's Tamin Lipsey.
It's his 4th 20 or more point game this year. His season high 25 against Mississippi State back in November. Grant McCaslin talking to his 2 players, both of whom had to leave the game within seconds of one another, Lawan Watts and Christian Anderson. Mosley over Jefferson, too strong, and Jefferson has it.
Texas Tech has not been able to get anything to go within 5-6 feet of the basket.
Jay, they've got 12 points in 13.5 minutes here in the second half.
Well, they've been forced into a lot of challenge threes and really tough twos. And you have to give credit to this Iowa State defense. It has been relentless pressure.
Jefferson inside and too strong off the glass. Boy, you talk about everything but the finish right there.
The combination of strength and skill is just so impressive.
Petty crossing over a few times on Lipsey. Mosley the screen. Lipsey stays with Petty. Everything contested. Every pass difficult. It is still Texas Tech ball. 4.5 on the shot clock.
Texas Tech cannot find any openings. The pressure on the ball has been extreme, and it's affected the movement of Texas Tech. They have not moved with the same purpose in this second half that they did early in the first.
Petty over Lipsey. Can't hit the 3, and this one is out of bounds to the Cyclones.
Every shot's been contested.
Yeah.
There have been very few open shots in this second half for Texas Tech.
This is a great offensive team, the Red Raiders. A great offensive team. They are 4 for 21 in the second half.
Well, it all starts with the ball pressure. And you hear TJ Otzelberger talking to his team about, we are going to dictate with our pressure and our physicality. They've taken transition away from Texas Tech. They've protected inside out, and then they rebound down.
Lipsey to the bench. Torrey returns. Here comes Momcilovic. Extra pass, Buchanan. And that is going to be a foul on Mariel Akuntuk, the redshirt freshman from Edmonton, who has not played much at all here today. Just came into the game at the last whistle for the first time.
As Blake Buchanan, I think you mentioned, transferred in for Virginia. He has been an unsung hero on this team. Really good offensive rebounder. Had a great game against Arizona State. 6 rebounds, 17 points. He was 7 of 11 from the field.
Getting ready, the UCF Knights. They took out Cincinnati in overtime yesterday. Had an 8-0 run in the last 2 minutes of the end of regulation to force overtime. A big-time win for Johnny Dawkins' program that looks like it should have them somewhat comfortably into the tournament. Now they've got to turn their attention to the top seed, the Arizona Wildcats. That is our next game here today.
They played Arizona tough in Orlando. A game in which Themis Folks had 30 points against Arizona.
Just a 7-point defeat, 84-77. They had lost their last 3 coming into the Big 12 tournament. They got a big win yesterday. BYU Houston and Kansas TCU, the 2 games in the night session here today. John Chambi, Fran Fraschilla, Angel Gray will have those games for you. That is knocked away by Torrey. Dives after it to save it, but it winds up out of bounds. But you got to love the effort.
It was great effort. He probably didn't need to dive. He was so far ahead of the pack. He probably could have just picked that up and maintained possession. But you have to admire the want to on the part of Killian Toure.
And he got a big old hug from his coach when he got back up, even though he didn't maintain possession.
Is there any temperature low enough for TJ Otzelberger to wear long sleeves?
We were there last year. It was a million below zero. You and I were walking in from one side for practice. He had just parked his car walking in from the other side. You and I are bundled up with parkas and scarves, and he's wearing shorts.
Shorts and a t-shirt. Yeah. But he referred to that day in Ames as a summer day in South Dakota.
He has done an outstanding job in this program over the last 5 years. Again, we mentioned they've gotten to the Sweet 16 twice. If they play as well as they are capable of playing, they have an outstanding chance to go deeper than that. Maybe much deeper than that. This is a team, when they throttle you defensively, they can hang with anybody.
You can game plan all you want to for this pressure. But it's kind of like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get hit.
Yep.
And you get hit by this Iowa State defense, and you can stay down.
5th in the nation in defensive efficiency per KenPom. 4:40 to go, and a seemingly comfortable 18-point lead for the Cyclones, as Henderson fouls Lipsey. Just the 4th team foul on Texas Tech.
You really have to force Lipsey to use that screen by Momcilovic. You let him turn it down, and he's got a free run to the basket.
Buchanan will get a big ovation as he comes out. Plater returns. Jefferson and Lipsey still in there right now for Iowa State. Lipsey to Plata, and a block from behind, but a foul called on Akuntuk.
Every time Plata sets a screen on the ball, he is rolling to the basket. There's Koa Pete, the great freshman from Arizona, coming off a 25-point game against Colorado, had 30 in his first collegiate game against that great front line of Florida.
And as you remember, we were there at the time. Arizona had a little spell without Pete and without Dwayne Aristode. They lost a couple of games. Those are the only games they've lost all year. They're whole again. They are healthy again, and they can compete, obviously, with anybody in the nation. They look like a lock to be a 1 seed no matter what happens here in Kansas City this week.
They lost a game at Allen Fieldhouse, and then Texas Tech with J.T. Toppin beat them at McHale.
Tyree Bryan will miss a 3. Bateman, who's given them a lot of good minutes today, down with a rebound.
Bateman's so confident right now. He can really shoot it.
Lipsey. Jefferson. Now Plata. Jefferson's got a size advantage. Look at how they all clear out. He draws the attention and makes the feed, and Plata lays it in.
Draws the defender and then just drops it off the Plata. Beautiful left-hand finish by Dominicus Plata.
How about Jefferson? 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists in this game.
Yeah, but what else did he do?
And those numbers are all kind of right, in tune with his season averages. This is the kind of game he often has.
Well, he's had a Player of the Year season.
Can't get the shot off here. Finds Bateman, who couldn't handle the pass, and it's turned over to Henderson. A steal by Jefferson, and he will slam it home. And a timeout on the floor with 2:53 to go. The Cyclones are on their way to the semifinals with a commanding lead, Jay, here over the Red Raiders.
Well, Joshua Jefferson, there have been a number of stars in this game, but none have shone brighter than Joshua Jefferson. What a beautiful pass, and then shooting the gap to take it the other way for the slam. Beautiful basketball by Iowa State.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Joshua Jefferson, as we have discussed this afternoon, can sure do a lot of things on the basketball court, and Jay, we have seen all of them on display today.
Well, Iowa State shooting 67% from the floor in this second half, largely because of the easy baskets they've generated. And one of the ways they've generated those easy baskets is the play of Joshua Jefferson, shooting the gap, taking it the other way, the great passing, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 block shots for Joshua Jefferson. He has been magnificent. That's 2 straight double-doubles in this tournament for Joshua Jefferson, and he hasn't been the only one. Tamin Lipsey has been outstanding in this game as well.
And as we mentioned, Jefferson is not physically 100%. You can see that, whether it's a knee or an ankle or hard to know for sure, but in spite of whatever it is, he has been absolutely outstanding for 2 consecutive games. Nice play there by the Red Raiders. Horner finds Mosley. Jefferson on the bench, Lipsey on the bench, as TJ Otzelberger starts to think a little bit about another game coming tomorrow in the semifinals. Underneath Momcilovic, and with as impressive as Iowa State has been, it's been a quiet day for Momcilovic. 2 for 8, 5 points. Torrey, tough turnaround, around and out.
But even though Momcilovic has not had many opportunities, he draws so much defensive attention, he helps open up things for his teammates.
Let's check out the last huddle with TJ Otzelberger.
Don't give them anything easy. No charity points. Nothing where they can feel good. Fuck them. Turn them over. Take the ball from them. Finish with 2. Don't fall for a shot fake. Just early stick hand above the ball. All right? Finish everything. Let's go. Strong, guys. Let's do it.
Coaches always coach. Up big and it's late. Still wants him to finish strong, even though the outcome certainly appears to be a foregone conclusion. And now here comes Buchanan. Here comes Momcilovic. Here comes Heisey out of the game for the Cyclones.
Just a big time effort from Iowa State. I just can't say enough about the Cyclone defense. It is just suffocating.
They only gave up 42 to Arizona State yesterday, and they've only given up 53 to this point to a very, very good offensive team in Texas Tech so far here today. And as we see Anderson and Watts, that leads me to my next question for you. Texas Tech is going to get a very good seed, deservedly so, but they don't have Toppin, and we'll have to wait and see what the next few days bring for Anderson and Watts. Are those, whatever those injuries are, and with Watts it certainly looked like an ankle, hopefully it's something, Jay, that they can be passed by the time the NCAA tournament begins.
Well, the good news for Texas Tech, when they get to the NCAA tournament, they probably won't have to play another Big 12 team early. They get to play some other competition, but health is the #1 thing on the mind of Grant McCasland.
Entering today, 15 in the net, 7 and 8 in quad 1, and again wins over Arizona, Duke, Iowa State, Houston. Joe Lunardi has them projected right now as a 4 seed.
And even after the loss of JT Toppin with that ACL suffered against Arizona State, you know, Texas Tech has had some big time wins even without him.
Mosley, who has played hard every single second he has been in there. Josiah Mosley misses the first free throw, and now Jalen Petty is coming out as Jack Francis, a senior from Austin, Texas, checks in here for the last 125 for Grant McCasland. There, those big wins. I don't know that any team in the country could match those 4 wins. 2 were on the road and 1 was on a neutral court as well. And again, hopefully they can get as healthy as possible for next week. Eric Mulder is into the game for Iowa State. Cade Kelderman as well. And also Dominic Nelson as Bateman knocks one down. And now a timeout just to make a substitution. Anthony Rise will come in. Killian Torrey will come out. Second day in a row where TJ Otzelberger has been able to rest his starters near the end and empty his bench.
Well, that's not something you came into this tournament expecting, but Iowa State has hit both of their opponents with a bag of hammers defensively in this tournament.
Henderson trying to drive on Bateman. Got around him. Push shot a little short. And down with the rebound for Texas Tech is Nolan Groves, a freshman from Long Lake, Minnesota, seeing a little action here at the end of the game. Groves best known for guarding Cameron Boozer a lot when they had a lot of injuries and foul trouble, and they got that win in New York over Duke. And it was Groves who did everything he could against Boozer over the last 7 or 8 minutes of that game.
Yeah, played 13 important minutes in that game. He also had 16 rebounds in his first game against Lindenwood.
Cyclone fans on their feet, a lot of them here today, and there are sure to be many more of them here tomorrow night at what they affectionately call Hilton South here in Kansas City. Another impressive performance by Iowa State. This will be a turnover on a shot clock violation. The Red Raiders will just inbound it, and that is going to be it. Iowa State will get the winner of our next game between Arizona and UCF. TJ Otzelberger's team has won 2 games by 71 points, Jay, to open up the Big 12 tournament.
Dominant defensively. This is a together team, and they are playing their best basketball at the right time in the postseason.
Taman Lipsey, outstanding. Joshua Jefferson, outstanding. And everybody else chipped in. Texas Tech averaging 81 points per game on the season. Didn't get anywhere close to that here today against the suffocating Cyclone defense. Hopefully the health news is good for Anderson and Watts for the Red Raiders going forward. Chris Budden is standing by with our Phillips 66 player of the game, Taman Lipsey.
Taman, you used the word revenge yesterday, that this team came into your house in Hilton Coliseum. You win by 22 today. What was the mentality to start the game today?
Man, just right off the bat to come in this game with a lot of aggression on both sides of the ball. Obviously, like I said the other day, it was kind of a revenge game. They got us at Hilton, and we wanted to get it back, so we did a great job today.
We spoke the other day, for this team to be at its best, it's got to have the commitment on defense. You've done that the last 2 days. What's been the difference on that side of the ball?
I think it's just effort. I mean, whatever team wants to win the game more, at the end of the day, they're going to be the one that's dictated on both sides. And we're just, on the defensive side, we play on a string, we play hard, and we create a lot of turnovers.
Wasn't always easy. You get down double digits. How were you guys able to stay composed after that first run by Tech?
Yeah, just knowing it's a long game. It's a 40-minute game, and they came out right away and made some shots, but we knew that we were going to hit some shots down the road, and just kept playing defense, kept getting stops.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the semifinals.
Thank you.
Impressive stuff from the Cyclones here today. They are on to the semifinals tomorrow night here in Kansas City. A 34-point swing from an early deficit to the final margin here this afternoon as they beat the Red Raiders 75-53, and they will take on the winner of our next game here today. The top seed Arizona is getting ready to take the court against the UCF Knights, and then Kansas, TCU, Houston, BYU later on tonight. Lipsey leading the way with 20, Jefferson with 18. Come on back for the Knights of the Wildcats. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Chris Budden, hoping you can join us. But right now, let's send it to Kevin and the guys for their thoughts on this game.